Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start my speech with a simple question. Have you ever asked the computer to write a joke for you? I once did. I asked the AI to write a joke for me for my comedy set. The result, terrible. Not open mic night terrible, epic terrible. But weirdly, at that moment, I felt something that I hadn't felt for a long time. Hope. Hope that there's still one thing that we humans can do that machines cannot, to make another human laugh. We're living in an era when AI is invading on every front of life. AI can write emails, can suggest meals, can even create art that wins awards. Facing this situation, let me ask you, how can we maintain our humanity? My answer is stand-up comedy. People will say, Sheila, you're a stand-up comedian. Of course you say so. I don't think comedy is that important. It's just about some funny stories. Let me tell you, comedy is much more than creating laughs. It's a fortress where we guard the last spark of human authenticity. Why do I say so? How can stand-up comedy help us preserve humanity? The reasons are twofold. We all know that AI feeds on digital data, but most stand-up comedy shows are performed offline, live. No recordings are allowed, which means we don't leave any digital trace. So no digital data to feed AI algorithms. That's why till now, no AI has fully grasped the craft of joke writing. Thank God. The other reason is that we all know that AI is good at recognizing patterns.
But comedy, stand-up comedy show, is based on unique personal experience. While AI is always logical and rational, comedy is all about how vulnerable we are, how irrational we are. While AI is optimizing our life in every aspect, comedy is all about our imperfections. So how can you expect AI to write a joke if it never experiences mistakes, frustrations, and failures, right? Because comedies is all about those things. We turn mistakes into joys. We turn awkwardness into insight. Here's the irony. Our weakness is what makes us human. Our weakness is what makes us strong. And it gives us a fortress. Let me give you an example. In my comedy sets, I often talk about the unique ways my husband and I deal with each other. By the way, we are happily married for 15 years. When asked what's the secret, I would say, oh, it's simple. We just leave each other alone. Yeah. When my friend comes to my place and watches us, she's curious. Sheila, you and your husband, you're not like a couple. You're more like roommates. I say, whoa, roommates. We are not that close. We're total strangers. We don't finish each other's sentences. We don't even start one. So love as strangers do. That's our secret, our unique way to make the marriage work. It is this uniqueness that AI cannot replicate. It is by this uniqueness we maintain our humanity. We escape from being controlled by cold data. Another thing that doing stand-up comedy has given me is companions. My fellow stand-up comedians who stayed up late, arguing over one single word in a punchline. The audience members who shared with us
their silly, messy life stories. Together, we form a community where we celebrate human imperfection. Isn't that wonderful? There's also personal transformation. When I first started doing stand-up comedy shows, I was timid, overthinking, afraid of being wrong. Now, I've learned to embrace failure, to stand on the stage, to risk silence, and to keep going anyway. I've also learned to speak with concision. A professional stand-up comedian aims for 3 laughs in a minute, which means there should be no extra words in any script. Okay, persistence, craft, and bravery. That comes from vulnerability, strangely. All these skills can carry into any corner of life, into any relationship, into any challenge. Yes, doing stand-up comedy has taught me to be fearless and concise. Actually, what I value most in doing stand-up comedy shows is that it has taught me to look at life trivias in a totally different perspective. You know, since I started to do stand-up comedy shows, I don't have any sad moments in my life. There are only happy experiences and the funny ones. Yeah, we've turned all the sad moments into joys and jokes. Let me give you an example. When people hear about the heat-death theory, a theory that every substance in the universe would eventually die. When people hear about this, they will be like, oh, everything will die? That's so sad. When we comedians hear about it, oh, everything will die? That's golden material for joke writing. Yeah. Okay, now I would like to share with you one tiny trick of creating humor. You can apply it to your daily life. It's called contrast. It's very simple. It goes this way. When you talk about something grand, important, suddenly shift your focus to something unimportant and tiny. This contrast will create comic effect instantly. Like this. One day, our city was stricken by an earthquake. Everything in the living room was shaking, all the floors, all the walls, everything was shaking. My husband pointed to the chair in the corner, go there, it's safer. I quickly went there and asked, honey, is that chair clean? See the comic effect? It's very easy, effortless. Try to use it. It adds humor to every life setting. I like to say, in the end, AI can do a lot of things for us. AI can diagnose diseases, it can drive cars, it can write novels, it can even craft speeches like this. But AI cannot laugh from the bottom of its heart. It cannot have a hobby, a silly hobby, feel publicly and turn it into joy. My hobby is stand-up comedy. Believe me, stand-up comedy is more than just creating laughs. It's a place where we can be gloriously, imperfectly, and unapologetically human. Every time I stand on the stage, I make mistakes, I create laughters. These moments remind me that humanity is not measured in intelligence or productivity, but in shared imperfection. There's an old saying, when humans start to think, God laughs, right? We've all known that. I've always wondered, what if we humans begin to laugh, maybe then God will be the one who starts to think. Thank you.